Are you using the right kind of paper in your watercolor paintings? Hi, I'm Shelby, co-creator of Foxy and art teacher for 10 years. Welcome to Things I Wish I Knew as a Watercolor Beginner. I've been doing watercolors for a very long time, but I learned as an adult, so I actually remember the process of learning and I remember the things that used to get in my way. The number one thing that held me back in those early days, it wasn't mentality, it wasn't the wrong kind of paint, it was the wrong paper. When I was a beginner, I was in college. I was poor and was very worried about spending money on art supplies. So I would try to use all different kinds of paper to do watercolors on, and they all sucked so bad. I tried copy paper, I tried cardstock, I tried really cheap watercolor paper. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, it always turned out shit. I thought the problem was me, I was just a bad artist, but it finally clicked into place when I tried proper watercolor paper for the first time. Now, you don't need to use the finest paper on the market, but you do need to use something that is decent for watercolor because watercolor is a really intense medium. Water is a force of nature in the most literal sense, and if you don't have paper that's designed for it, it's either going to tear up your paper and get it to pill and do all kinds of weird things, or it's going to look bad because the colors just kind of like seep into the paper and don't look as vibrant and bright as you meant them to. That's just because those papers are not designed for wet media. What you want to do as a beginner is get some 140-pound cold-pressed watercolor paper. I recommend Strathmore and Canson. They're both really accessible brands, but it doesn't really matter. Brand is not the big deal here. It's that it's watercolor paper, 140 pound or 300 grams for our metrics friends. Oh, hello. Are you a part of this? Pearl is aiding my visual teaching. Yeah, this is Pearl, by the way. She's our studio snake. If watercolor paper is still too financially stressful for you to use for all of your practices, I also always recommend that people grab a multimedia sketchbook. A mixed media sketchbook is going to allow you to use watercolors a bit. It might not be well suited for things with lots and lots of layers or lots of water, but it's going to be great for allowing you to goof around, try things out, test out color palettes, etc. So yeah, that's what I wish I knew. It's not the paint or the brushes or any of that extra stuff that's important, it's the paper. If you're gonna splurge on one material, get good paper. The rest of it can be pretty cheap and you can still get started and learn a ton. Follow for more watercolor tips.